Hi, everybody. My name is Catherine Otrial. I'm a psychic and a medium here in New York City. For those of you who don't know me, you can search Roses and Angels and my name to find out more about me and the work I do. I'm gifted since childhood, but I've been publicly working over 15 years here in New York City. I work primarily in Brooklyn and Manhattan. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, first off, I just want to thank everybody who's been following these YouTubes. I started these YouTubes because basically, I haven't stopped working during the pandemic. In fact, my work has increased. So the YouTubes were a way to simplify and get all my events up in one place on the website. And my last YouTube had over 150 views. So I want to thank everybody who's watching, both here and abroad. Thanks for all the shares and all the forwarding. I'm so grateful. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk today about Strega 101. It's back from last year. And just a little background about how this came about. First of all, I'm a third generation Strega, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But I've been working almost 15 years, and I discovered that a large portion of my clients either moved away from domestic violence or have moved away from poverty through domestic violence and domestic abuse, and they're now struggling here in New York City. And what I've learned in the last 15 years is economic challenges are often tied to domestic violence. They go hand in hand. People often either stay in the situation or leave, and invariably they suffer from economic uncertainty, unsafety, and continued abuse where they've moved. So this is a topic that's kind of been around me a lot through my work with the Prosperity Group and through my work with my private clients here in New York City. And Strega 101 has been a way to kind of get this topic on the table. I am a third generation Strega. My grandmother Catherine taught me these things, and I would share these stories, and she would tell me, I would ask her, where did you get these things? Where did you learn these things? And she would say, my mother Rosa taught me them, and now I'm teaching them to you. And when I would tell stories about Grandma Catherine in the community, everybody loved these stories about Grandma Catherine, and they continued to tell them. And quite accidentally, I discovered a website that spoke about many of the things that my grandmother taught me and called it Stregaria, an Italian form of paganism. Strega means witch in Italian. I have often been called bruja or strega before I acknowledged that term in the late 90s. Many of you know that people at work call me brujalita when I worked at UBS. And I, behind the scenes, acknowledged that I was gifted and psychic and that kind of thing. But it was starting to come out in ways that were strange. So Spirit was moving me in this direction long before I wanted to do this work. And as I've always said, most of us who really do this work go kicking and screaming. And I went kicking and screaming. So back to Stregaria. Grandma Catherine was from northern Italy, and she taught me a lot of these things, which I've passed on to my clients, and I kind of put it in one place. And it's an offering that empowers my clients, which are largely women. Domestic violence, just to give you some of the statistics, here in the United States, there are over 3 million reported cases of domestic violence. 7 million go unreported. Each year, over 35% of domestic violence people do not survive. 35% of women victims of domestic violence internationally are women. In the United States, it's 60%. 60% of the murders in the United States are women who were victims of domestic violence. So that's 60% of women who did not come out of their domestic violence, that they did not survive their domestic violence. Uh, it bothers me that nobody's talking about these things. Our senators, our Congress aren't talking about these things. Uh, they, they don't talk much about women. And you've seen in the last year how they've talked about women. So I'm not going to go there. I don't talk about things. I'm a doer. Edgar Casey, who I'm very connected to the Edgar Casey Center, as most of you know, was a doer. He said it's not in the talking, it's in the do. So I'm a doer. My mother was a doer. I'm a doer. So what will you learn in Strega 101? You will learn how to clear negativity with bay leaves. You will learn the Italian uses for salt. You will learn the uses for the monocornuta. You will learn about the tarantella. And you will learn a little bit about the history of Stregeria, both nationally, internationally, and in my family. It's a 2-part workshop, which means it's 2 one-hour sessions. And in August, September, October, if you bring a friend to Strega 101, your friend will come free. So it's like you're splitting the workshop. Each of you will come at half price. It will be the same thing for Empath 101 in August, September, and October. If you bring a friend, your friend comes free. So that means you and your friend pay half price. Why am I doing this? First of all, Empath 101, as I say, is another course that empowers women. And I'm teaching a 4-part course. It's 4 one-hour sessions that nobody's teaching in New York City. I give you the mind-body tools in Empath 101 to help you get out of your unstuckness. So if these courses resonate with you, email me. I prefer email rather than messengers because I've got my messengers shut off. But email me through my website. Once again, that's search Roses and Angels, Catherine Otrial. Also, there will be another YouTube regarding my September events, and that'll be coming up in a week or 2. I hope you're all enjoying your summer, and I hope to empower you in the fall with Strega 101 and Empath 101. Hope to see you soon. Ciao, bellas.